Wesat gehale, ich je nemned Aldwina, and will come to English mid Aldwina. You might have noticed that I did not say what I have been saying for all my previous videos, which is ich hatte Aldwina. And the reason for that is this is basically a little video that's kind of just a summary of a discussion that was had on the Discord server. Which I'm just going to scroll up and find. So basically, a guy in the Discord server, his name is Bert Noth. Very smart guy, very good at Old English. He said basically that he kind of did some digging into the corpus, which probably I should have done, and noticed that basically the ich hatte construction, which is based on a sort of ossified passive form of the verb haten, which means to call, is very uncommon in kind of non-poetic, non-kind of archaic Old English, which intuitively makes sense. It's using a very weird form of a verb that only exists for this one verb. And that actually the more common ways of saying my name is or I'm called is min nama is or ich mir nämned, literally my name is or I am called. And that ich hatte only shows up once outside of like riddles, and the only time that specifically the form thu hattest, you're called, is written is not to a person, it is written to a plant. He's like saying this plant is called. So the suspicion or sort of idea is basically that the riddles and these kind of other uses of hatte is less of a my name is and more of an I am called, sort of a register difference, but even more so that this is kind of a very archaic sort of Old English that your average guy in, 9th century England wouldn't have been talking like. He would have just said min nama is. And sort of the lesson there is, and this is something I've struggled with learning languages, including German, including Old English, is you oftentimes, especially as an English speaker, where English is kind of this, default language of the world almost, due to colonialism and all that, but that's not really relevant. You kind of get this idea that English phrasing is something that other languages don't do, that you should avoid things that sound too English. But of course this is Old English. This is literally the ancestor to English, so it kind of does make sense that you'd see things that are phrased similarly to English, especially in later prose, especially Old English, really starts to sound very Englishy. So this is just a quick little video that came out a couple weeks ago on the Discord server, and I thought I should mention it since every video before this one I've started off saying ich hatte Aldwina, and I figured that it would be a good idea to kind of educate everyone and make sure that you're aware that I've realized that's probably not the best way to say it. I would, at this point, I would just say min nama is Aldwina and be done with it. So, because, as I said, learning a lot of languages, it's like, oh, this doesn't sound like English. This must be how you say it. And especially with Old English, oh, this sounds like German. Ich heiße Aldwina. That must mean that ich hatte Aldwina is the way you say it, because German is not English, and not English is good. This is a very common thing I see with like Old English speakers and English speakers. I've seen a lot of things like that. Like a lot of people will translate "How are you doing" into Old English as something like "Hoe gaat het met je," which is roughly a translation of, I think, Dutch "Hoe gaat het met je," or German "Wie geht's dir," when in fact the way that it was attested is "Hoe maucht du," how may you. It's like it's a bit closer to kind of Latin "Ut vales" than how does it go with you. So that's really this video. Just, I should have looked at the corpus. I should have checked whether or not ich hatte was like a common expression I didn't, and that caused me to speak wrong. So basically, don't just assume that because it's not English, it must be right. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.